Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's all good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah, I'm on my way to the airport. We're gigging with Eclipse, so I'm sitting in my car at the moment. If it sounds funny.
It sounds good on this end, and I appreciate you still taking the time to do this, even on a day of travel.
Of course, no worries.
Oh, awesome.
It's a
Well, it's great
pleasure.
to be
Yeah.
able to talk to you again. I got to talk to you last time for the latest Eclipse album, and now it's great to be able to talk about the brand new album coming out next week through Frontiers Music for Nordic Union.
Yeah. Was it like a year ago we talked kind of?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, wonderful.
So, with that in mind, I've been able to check out this brand new album from Nordic Union, and I just love everything that's going on with this. It's got such great variation with it. It's a great album experience. There's so many great highs and lows of emotions and everything in between, and yeah, just everything that's going on with this album just feels like it was perfect in the way that it's come out.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I really enjoy it as well. It's from personally, it's my favorite of the three albums we've done so far. So, and I think Ronnie feels the same way as well. So, yeah, we're really happy with the record, and
Oh, fantastic.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
with that in mind, I mean, what was it like to start writing for this album?
Well, I thought about it today, and the album is quite heavy. It's the heaviest one so far. It's almost metal at times, and I was fixing with my house, or renovating my house, and I was tearing down walls, and I was listening to a lot of heavy metal at the moment because I was almost angry because I really had to work hard with it. So I came directly out to the studio and I started writing for this album, and it's like the only riffs I could make was heavy metal riffs.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's just like I really love the what's come from it with that because with the addition of almost more heavy metal sounds, it really makes the album so much more diverse.
yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and I think that's what I really do appreciate about the album as well too, because when it gets heavy, it does get heavy, but when it scales back, when it becomes more melodic, when it becomes more ballady, when it becomes more somber, like you really feel all those different emotions, and it shines through so much between your songwriting and Ronnie's vocals.
Yeah, and I think it's a great fit for Ronnie because he is a great heavy metal singer as well. He can sing all the beautiful ballad stuff as well, but he is also really good at the heavy metal stuff. And I think he has did two solo records which are more not pop but more very melodic and softer. So I think it was about time for him to start singing some heavy stuff as well.
Oh yeah, totally. And again, it works out so well. And I really do feel like this is the best Nordic Union album to date. And just I love the pairing of you two between the past two albums, and just seeing that continue to shine with Animalistic is just it's so great to see it. And I'm so excited for everyone else to be able to check this out next week.
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait to see the reactions. I've seen a few reviews so far, and it's been the ones I've seen is has been really good. So fingers crossed, the fans will like it. You never know when you start writing a record. I can only make songs that I like myself, and you never know if someone else is going to like them because the only reference you have is yourself. So, well, it's just hope for the best.
Oh, absolutely. So, thinking about that as well too. I mean, obviously, when you had this in mind when you were writing for this album, what was Ronnie's reaction when he started hearing the songs for the first time?
Yeah, he really liked it, and he really liked it that it was heavier. He always liked all the songs I've sent him. I think he really liked the kind of songs I write, but I think he was really excited when he heard it was the more heavy stuff, and the heavier the songs were, the happier Ronnie was. So that was great.
Oh yeah, and like you mentioned before, I mean, he has such a great range, and he's able to hit so many great styles and vocal ranges and everything else that goes along with it. So yeah, and like you mentioned before, it's just the fact with his solo work is much more melodic, and of course his work with Pretty Maids. It's great to be able to see something with this kind of intensity in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. I think back in the 80s when they started, he had this two voice thing. He had this very soft melodic voice that was super clean, and then he had this angry voice that was a bit almost too angry, and they were like two different persons singing when he did this stuff. But as he gets older, I think the screaming voice has gotten better better, and his soft voice has gotten more rough. So I think he's a better singer now than he ever was. I think it's just delivers the best vocals performance of it live.
Yeah, I can totally hear it, especially throughout this album. It's just like he absolutely shines with his vocal ability. And of course, the best way to be able to show off that vocal ability is the background of some fantastic music. And this is some of the best music that I think you've written as well, with like all the endeavors that you've been a part of, and how much I loved the Eclipse album from last year. It's just like it's great to be able to see this different side of you with Nordic Union and getting heavier.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. So, with that in mind, I mean, obviously there's so much that goes into making the album and everything. And of course, with the promotion and being able to put out singles and videos, what was it like with that? Like being able to make the videos for the singles for this album?
Yeah, it was super fun. We will work with the same guy who did Viva la Victoria video with Eclipse, Patrik Oleus. He's been doing a lot of Swedish, death metal. He'd done a lot of from all over Europe to In Flames, and everything in between. He's been doing a lot of videos, so he's a super professional, and it was really good to hang because Ronnie is doing his. I'm doing my stuff. All the whole band is recording in Sweden, but Ronnie is doing his vocals in Denmark, with Jacob Hansen, a great Danish producer, mixer guy. So he's been doing it because he lives pretty close to him. So it's finally we can meet at a video shootings. And that's always great to drink beer and have a good time and do some rock videos.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, that's some of the best parts is when you are able to get together. And of course, over the last few years, the world has made it harder to be able to get together. And now that things are slowly starting to get back to normal, I mean, it's great when you are able to travel together and you're able to, even when it comes to doing something that can be very taxing, like making a video, it can be that much more fun because you're getting to see people that you haven't seen in quite a bit.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's the best part of that's the best part of the experience of doing music is being together with other people. And especially with Eclipse, we're starting to play a lot of live gigs and festivals this year, and it's so exciting to be back on the road to be able to play the music. When we released the record Wired almost a year ago, we released a record. We couldn't really play it live. We played a few gigs, but then it was lockdowns again and stuff. So now we finally can be out playing the songs live again. It's great.
Yeah, and then speaking of Eclipse, just like you mentioned, I mean, it's so great to see that the album is starting to get that live promotion because those songs totally deserve it.
Yeah, they're really good live songs. I think we play like 8 or 9 songs of the record live because we always play a lot of new songs. And these songs works extremely well live. They're up tempo. They're very much a rock and roll vibe of the whole album. So that works really well.
Oh, absolutely. And again, thinking about that with Nordic Union as well too, and being able to see this different side of both you and Ronnie being able to show this off. I mean, just like looking at the music videos and like seeing how much fun it looks like you're having being able to create those videos from the final product. I mean, I really love visually what's going on with everything between the music videos and of course the album cover as well too. It's just such a great striking album cover. I love the dark colors that's used amongst with it,
Yeah.
and I think it's a great representation of the album.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was Ronnie's idea with the men in suits, but with the wolf faces, and I think it was a really cool idea. I really liked it.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those where when you get the physical version of it on CD or on vinyl, I think it's just going to look so striking when you're able to hold it in your hands.
Yeah, I haven't received it yet, so I'm really looking forward to that. Always the vinyl, always the CDs look good, but it's always the vinyl that you go for. That's the one that I'm excited about.
Oh, for sure. And getting back into the recording of this, obviously getting in the studio and being able to record these songs, what was that experience this time around? What was it like for you?
I think it was. I think the main part of doing a record is writing the songs. If you don't have the songs, you can be in the best studio and have the best mix in the world, but it will not help anything if you don't have the songs. So the main part of the whole process of making a record is writing the songs. But this time, I think think it went really smooth. Ronnie, no big problems at all. We had songs were coming along quite easy. Ronnie was only involved in writing two lyrics on this record because he was just coming off his solo record. And he was pretty, he was worn out by writing so much material. So he asked me if it was okay for me to write more of the lyrics this time, which I did. But I was in a creative process as well, so it was really smooth. Ronnie and myself were really excited about the songs, and then for me personally, the actual recordings of the musician, when you have the songs in the pre-production, it's pretty easy to just replicate and do it better than the pre-production kind of. So everything has been super smooth.
Oh, and that's so great to hear that too. I mean, I know sometimes things can fall apart in the studio and songs don't work out the way that you want them to, or equipment or whatever the case is, but hearing that it did go as smooth as it did, it's so great to hear that.
Yeah, but usually when you have a song and it doesn't work in the studio, sometimes of course it helps to change sounds and to change do different arrangement of a song. But when the song is right, it's always super easy. And when you struggle, there's usually the problem is the songwriting.
Yeah, and again, just like seeing the inspiration for this album too, and just having like that new vibrant more heavy sound going on with this album. I mean, when you have that creativity behind it and you're able to explore more options, it's great to be able to have more that you're able to work with in your musical palette.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree.
So with that in mind, I mean, what was it like for you when obviously being able to sit with these songs, being able to hear Ronnie's contributions, and of course everything that goes into the mixing and mastering of the songs? I mean, what was it like to hear the songs back for the first time in its final form?
I was super excited when it's when you start thinking about making the first guitar riff for a record. As I've been making so many records in my life, I know it's a long way from the first thought of picking up a guitar and play hitting the strings until we're making the videos and check out the artwork for the cover. It's a lot of work to put in, and when you're at the end of the record, when the record is done and recorded, you're usually super tired of the whole record. But this time was like everything went so smooth. So when it was recorded and mastered and mixed, I just lie down and listen to the record several times, and I really enjoyed it. And as I'm a singer with Eclipse, it's always great to hear someone else sing your songs, because I'm so pretty tired of hearing myself.
Oh, I know that can happen to the best of us, but at least when you do have someone that's gonna be singing your work, it's awesome to have someone like Ronnie being able to transcribe your lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely. And he always I do the vocals and I sing the songs and I do everything that's going to be on the songs, and he do them quite similar to how I would do them, but he still makes them his own, and he do small changes and makes them Ronnie instead of Erik, and that's always fun for me to hear. It makes me exciting when I get the his vocals back into my studio and I add them to the projects, and I listen to the what he's been doing with the songs, and it's always super exciting, and he always surprises me in a positive way.
Is there any particular examples of that throughout the album, like that really stuck out to you from seeing him shine like that?
It's everything from it's small things here and there. It changed his phrases. We did on the first single for this record, In Every Waking Hour. After the whole song starts, it goes quieter. It's just a guitar playing, and he's just doing this super soft vocals. It's like super emotional, and that was not on my demo. He did that in the studio because he just came up with this thing, because I had the guitar outro, but he added vocals to that outro, and that's actually one of the songs that he wrote lyrics for. So yeah, he added something, and it really makes the song a lot better.
And I'm so glad to hear that as well too, because even before I realized that it was one of the singles, when I heard the album, it's just like that was one of the songs that really struck me, and I did feel some emotion inside me when I was hearing his vocal range going on with it, and the fact that he had that much detail in that song, it's just so great to hear that.
Yeah. Because when I sent it to him, I only had I call it swinglish lyrics. It's just nonsense lyrics. I just sent him. I think some of the lyrics from the chorus was actually my kind of nonsense lyrics, but I sent him like, this is how this melody goes. This is how I imagine this song. Just do whatever you want with it. And yeah, that's what came back, and it was really good. Ended up being one of the singles.
Oh, that's so great to hear that. And yeah, between both singles that have been released, and again the videos for them, just like in Every Waking Hour and This Means War, it's like I really love the visual representations of the albums, and it just has a great striking appearance along with it as well too. That just really makes you appreciate it.
Yeah, very heavy metal.
Oh, absolutely. Just like in Every Waking Hour, and just like being able to see the fire in there as well too. It just like it gives it that little extra to it to make you appreciate it more.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. We had the guys, the whole band coming together playing, and that was really it's good to everyone could be in the same room together. It was great.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, with all of your musical endeavors too. I mean, with all of the great musicians that you get to work with all walks of life, being able to show off some great rock and metal music. I mean, I can imagine with like having so much on your plate, being able to go between different bands and projects and being able to have the live shows and of course, Eclipse being able to really show off the new album. I mean, it's great to see that the creativity and inspiration is still running wild for you and you're able to have the passion between everything that you do.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I think it was songwriting and everything recording. It's just the more you do it, usually the better you get it. It's like everything you do in life. If you're a carpenter, the more you do that, the better you get. You don't get worse for every. If you make kitchens, for every kitchen you make, you get better at it. Don't get worse at it. And I think it's the same kind of with songwriting. Not always, but usually it's like if you're really into it and you put your heart into it, I think it just gets better and better.
So thinking about that as well too. I mean, obviously with how much I'm really loving this album, and of course, again with the latest Eclipse albums, being able to see that side of you as well too. Like, has there been like any of those moments where you're writing and like something like really sticks out and you like particularly proud of what you created?
I always make every record as good as I can. Sometimes it gets really good. Sometimes it's not as great. I always try to keep the worst song needs to be good on the records, because if I don't have enough good songs, I just continue writing, and I really put down the hours until I have the record. Until I'm like, I like every song on the record. There shouldn't be a song that I don't like on the record, because then I just keep on writing until we're happy with it. And so yeah, I think it's a lot of hard work is what needs to be put into every record.
Absolutely.
I don't know
And
if
the
that
payoff
answers the
for it is
question.
so great.
Yeah, and the payoff is great, because if you have great songs, I think people will listen.
Oh, for sure. And I keep
Yeah.
going back to it for that reason because it's just an album that is just like it fills me with such a great sense of wanting to keep going back. And it's just like there's so many things that go into an album that matter so much. I mean, between the songwriting, having the right musicians, mixing, mastering, the track order. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that's very important too. Like that can affect an album so much. And it just feels like the songs are in that perfect order with this album.
Yeah, I think running order is pretty important. It can really, especially when you have those songs that are kind of odd on the record, because they can sometimes be hard to fit. But if you make them if you put them in the right place, they will make total sense on a record. Or you can also screw it up pretty much.
Oh yeah, and
Hope, hope,
but again,
hope,
I'm just
hope.
so happy to see with the way this has turned out and all the great things that are happening with Nordic Union. And I've seen such great praise for the singles released so far, and I'm so excited for everyone to be able to check this out next week. And I mean, there's just so many great things that are going on with Nordic Union, and of course yourself too, with everything that you got going on. And I
Yeah.
imagine that things are going to keep getting busier for you too. I mean, now that Eclipse is able to play more live shows and everything else that you got going on.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, and we have festival season here in Europe. So we can play a lot of great festivals. We're going to go to Switzerland and play Friday. We're going to play in Finland on Saturday, and we have Japan coming up, and it's going to be there's a lot of stuff happening. It's super exciting.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you too. Again, just seeing all the places that you're able to play here, the Nordic Union album coming out next week through Frontiers Music, everything else that I'm sure is to come down the road. I mean, there's a lot of great things happening for you right now, and just as a fan, I'm just so happy and excited for you to be able to do all of this right now.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh,
It's people like you who write about it. It's the people who listen to it. It's the people attending concerts. They are the people who make music come alive. We can only when you're on stage, it doesn't matter if it's a local cover band in a bar or if it's AC/DC. Without the fans in the audience, the bands on stage are nothing. So we owe it all to people like you, to everyone who's listening, of course.
oh, I truly appreciate it, and I know the fans that are going to be checking this out, both new and old, are really going to appreciate that as well too. And I think with that, I think that's an amazing note to end on. And of course, again, the brand new album from Nordic Union, Animalistic, coming out the 12th of August through Frontiers Music. This has been an absolutely great time to be able to catch up with you again and be able to talk about Nordic Union, talk about Eclipse, all these great things that are happening with you. And I thank you again so very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about all of it.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Oh, I'm so glad to do it, and I can't wait to be able to show off this interview. And yeah, it's just been a great time being able to talk to you. I'll let you go as I know you're about to catch a flight. So again, I appreciate you taking the time on a travel day to do this, and I just wanted to show my appreciation. And I hope you have a safe flight and a great rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Same to you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.